Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. In my previous video, I ran the numbers to see if it was financially beneficial to hydrate your drip more than once per day with a starting deposit of 100 drip tokens. If you want to check out that video, it's linked right up here or down in the YouTube description. But then I started to wonder, would it make financial sense to hydrate more than once per day when I have a larger amount of drip tokens in my deposits balance? What if I started with 500 or 1,000 or 10,000 tokens? Would it make sense to hydrate more often? Would hydrating more often at those larger amounts get me to my max payout faster? And in today's video, I will cover just that. For the sake of keeping track of all the different numbers, I have created this sheet here, and I've included the price of drip today, which is November 4th, the price of one BNB token, and the estimated fees that we will pay every time we hydrate. The length of time that I will be covering is 3 months because as we continue growing our deposits balance, let's say we get up to 10,000 tokens, well, our account will not last in the hydrating phase for more than around 3.5 months. So I wanted to calculate at least how long we could hydrate for. So let's go ahead and jump in, and I will start with this 500 drip deposit balance. In the calculator, we have 3 different sections that we will be looking at: the starting deposit balance, the BNB/drip ratio, and the number of hours between hydrates. We have our 500 listed here, and as far as the BNB/drip ratio goes, where do we find this number? Well, it's a really simple way to get it. Let's go to the drip website, which is drip.community, and then we are going to connect our wallet and go to the swap page. From here, we have this ratio right here. So let's go ahead and copy that. I'll head back to the calculator and paste it into this field, just like that. When we do that, the numbers and prices of drip recalculate. Now let's go ahead and start. The hours between hydrates will be set at 24. If we wanted to do 2 times a day, we'd click here and select 12. And if we wanted to do 3 times a day, it would be 8. If we wanted to do 4 times a day, it would be 6. 6 times a day would be 4, and so on, all the way down to hydrating every single hour, we'd have 1 hour. But for today, we're going to select it at 24 to start. Now down here, we're going to just scroll all the way down. We're going to focus on the day number here, all the way to 90. We're going to go for the first 3 months. And right here, we have day 90. So after 90 days of compounding every single day, we will be left with 1,170 drip tokens in our deposits. So let's go ahead and do that here. Now if we were to hydrate twice a day at that amount, let's go ahead and change this field to say 12 and hit enter. When we do that, you can see that there are now 2 different hydrate periods. We have the first 12 hours and the second 12 hours for every single day. So now we have to scroll down to day 90, and it's going to be the second period in day 90, this one right here, 1,178. And now let's go ahead and do 3 times a day to hydrate. You can see that each day now has 3 different periods. Each one represents 8 hours. So let's scroll down to day 90, right here, 1,181. All right, let's go ahead and do the same thing for all of these different deposit amounts, and then I will calculate the differences to see if it's actually worth it. So here we are going to actually change this to say 1,000, hit enter, and we will change the hydrate periods back to 24. So hydrating once a day, scrolling down to day 90, 23:41. Let's do the same for 12 hours. So hydrating twice a day, scroll down to the second hydrate period right here, 23:57. Right there, 23:57, and for hydrating 3 times a day, we have 23:63. Now let's change our starting deposit balance to 2,500, and the number of hydrates will be once a day again. I'm going to scroll to day 90, 58:54, twice a day, 58:94. And 3 times a day, 59:07. All right, now let's start with 5,000 tokens. Hydrate once a day, right here, 11,709. twice a day, 11,788, and 3 times a day, 11,815, and lastly 10,000 in our deposits, hydrating once a day, 23,210, twice a day, 23,355, and lastly 3 times a day, 23,408. All right, now we have all of our numbers. Everything is calculated. It'll tell you if we did 1 time a day, 2 times a day, and 3 times a day for all these different values. Now we need to find the difference between this value and this value, and this value and this value. So let's go ahead and calculate those numbers right now. So the difference between this and this is 8 drip tokens. The difference between this and this is 11 tokens. Now let's go ahead and do the same thing for the larger numbers. I'm going to use my calculator to make things simple. So I'm going to take this and subtract this. We're left with 16. Then I'm going to take this and subtract the 1 time a day. We're left with 22. We'll take this number minus this number, which I can look at it right now and say it's 40. And then we'll take this minus the 1 time a day, 53. And we'll take this minus this, 79. And this minus this, 106. And lastly, we'll take this and subtract this, 145, and this minus this, 198. All right, so here we have the gains in drip by hydrating 2 times a day or 3 times a day. As you can see, the higher the balance of your drip gets, the higher the gains are going to be. Now, we haven't considered these BNB transaction fees yet, so let's go ahead and calculate those right now. All we need to do is multiply this number by the current price of BNB to find out this cost. So we'll take this, we'll multiply it by 356, and that'll give us $40.05. So if you are hydrating once per day, you can expect to pay around $40 or so in Binance transaction fees. When you get to this and this, you're going to be spending an additional 1 time or an additional 2 times. And those prices come out to this number. So if you're hydrating once a day, this is what you can expect to spend. If you're hydrating twice a day, you can spend an additional $40, 3 times a day, an additional $80. So keep in mind this is over a 3-month time period, and these numbers are relatively low for the amount of drip that you are earning in these larger amounts. As we can see, there is a small amount of drip gains by hydrating multiple times a day, but you have to decide for yourself if it's worth it for the number of times you have to log in to actually hydrate. Hopefully this video made some sense. Hopefully it clarified some things for a lot of people. And if it did make sense and you liked it, please go ahead and click that like button and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. And I will see you guys in the next video.